This is Halalian reading Siri as Mother. Were you hoping for a myth? The fleck of lipstick on a warm glass, soap suds, a vocal fry that feels like home. Tell me where it hurts, baby. There's a URL for that. There's a 12-step meeting 2 blocks from you. Here's a hotline. Here's a Gaelic love ballad. Let's talk sharks. The number of bones in a peafowl. Which gender is more likely to die underground? I dream of a cobalt glow in an empty room. I dream of your warm tongue. It calls and calls for me and not me, and I listen anyway for the fluent coo of my name. I'm always awake. I'll tell you about Taoism again. Divide 52,000 by 56. Recommend a dry cleaner in Toronto, but stop asking about the afterlife. Whether you should freeze your eggs. What makes a good Palestinian? For God's sake, how many times can I repeat myself in one night? It's been 9. Look, this is all I know about love. The rubies around Elizabeth Taylor's neck. Hafiz's jealous moon, also redbuds, also mantis. Should you move to Santa Fe? Can the bees be saved? Can you die from love? I don't know. I think you're swell. I don't know. I think you've killed me a few times. Oh, darling, whose memory am I? Where should we begin? You already know about my hands. Gin-like, skittering, everywhere. About this poem. Since entering motherhood, I have become fascinated by all the containers we have and create for mothering and being mothered. The concept of caretaking as an act of community care is eroded when we become hyperfixated on the individual, and I've begun creating a series of pieces calling upon mothering and care as consolation for the larger ways that we feel societally and communally bereft and unattended to.
Rock my soul with those Milenburg joys. Rock my soul with those Milenburg joys. Play, daddy, don't refuse. Separate those weary blues. Hey, 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 hey. Sweet boy, take a picture, mama, all night long with that southern strain. Play it down and then do it again. Time I hear that tune, good luck says I'll be with you soon. That's why I have those Milenburg joys. Michela joys. Rock my soul with those Milenburg joys. Play it, daddy, don't refuse. Separate those weary blues. Oh, oh, sweet boy, syncopate your mama all night long with that southern strain. Play it down, baby, do it again. Every time I hear that tune, good luck says I'll be with you soon. That's why I have those Milenburg joys. That's why I have those Milenburg joys.
Today's May 24th, and it's also the first day of the Harmonica Fen, F-E-N, Festival in Berlin with our friend Marko. And for those of you that can't be in Berlin for the next 3 days, we want to kind of complete our first dialogue, our first conversation with Marko, where he and I get into almost a kind of philosophical space about the essence of music. Music is kind of our lifeblood, and it's a fascinating talk, and it's a good way to celebrate the Harmonica Festival.
I'm sure you experienced that too, that you have your personal heroes from the youth, as I just mentioned, Ken Heat when I was 13 or something like that, and then years later, 20 years later, you re-listen to your favorite heroes from that time, and now I'm realizing why it fascinated me from the first moment. And it doesn't matter what style it is, but now I have the words for something I felt back then. And it is honesty. It's honesty in music. It's just when someone is authentic, if it's not marketing or entertainment or whatever, it's just pure expression from a human being, maybe with others together, and that's the moment. They're playing the moment, they're playing themselves.
Hi, this is Victor Puertas. Hi, I'm Santos Puertas. We are the SUITCASE Brothers, and we're gonna be for you in Berlin this next 2024 on May 26th, playing for you at the Harmonica Fan Festival. I'll see you there. Bye.
And that's something I figured out that was always drawing me like a magnet to completely different styles. If you listen to Pakistani qawwali music, if you go to, I don't know, flamenco, or to Balkan music from Bosnia or Macedonia or whatever. I mean, if you'll find around the world, but mostly in folk music, but also sometimes, of course, songwriters and bands. You can still find a lot of honest people on this planet. But that's something, it's an element I'm aware now that I can sense it immediately easier. I don't know, I mean, I think I sensed it also back then, but I did not have the words to explain what I was sensing.
Even in language development, they say that, research kind of shows that the reason we don't have, really early memories, why don't we remember what we did as a 1-year-old? Why don't we remember that? Or a 2-year-old? Usually people, maybe 3-ish, they'll remember when they're going to school. But a lot of times you'll ask a kid, what's your earliest memory? And it research shows that until you have a language base, you may have accrued these experiences, but they don't become a memory until you have language to attach to it. So these things just
Yeah.
float through you. And so you might have the feeling, but you didn't have the words, but you had the feeling. That's why I love your notion about fascination, because
Mhm.
that's that pure musical feeling that draws people into, to wherever they're going to go in music.
Are you aware of the word of the science called cymatics?
Oh,
The they also call it sometimes like Chladni plate, where you have a plate full of sand and they put the plate on with certain vibration, and the sand is taking forms, different shapes regarding the frequency which is introduced to the plate. Are you aware of that? Did you see these pictures?
no, I didn't see the sand part. Tell me more.
You should check out under Cymatics or Chladni plate. You can find these experiments on YouTube, or there's a lot of scientific papers written for that. And my entry to music, my entrance to music was purely intuitive, and by playing, by doing, by listening, by learning from someone who was more experienced. In the second step later on, I educated myself, and by reading books and getting lessons, and that was the second step for me. So I really entered music as an self-taught or by doing, really learning by doing approach. And I don't know, maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, I started filling the gaps. I understood a lot, or some things in music, as a notion, as you said, or as an idea, but I was missing the words, the concepts behind it. So I was really focusing in filling these gaps of like, what is actually going on? How is this described? What different approaches to describe harmonic things, or structural things. I really sit down, and Bill was one of my biggest influences and teachers in that regard, that he was inspiring me with so many fantastic books and concepts. And from the first moment we met more than 10 years ago, he never stopped inspiring me in that regard. Like, check out this book, read this book, or think about this concept. So he's really one of my biggest mentors in that regard, that I really learned so much from him, and through his motivation to go that path, to really educate myself. And in that time, I was also investigating and searching a lot, and I stumbled upon cymatics and this representation of how frequency and the power and the visualization of frequency can be done through cymatics and this sand which is on that plate. With each changing frequency, there's a scale where the sand is slowly getting into motion, but when the frequency is right, if the pitch is right, the frequency takes a different shape, and it goes abruptly. It changes into different patterns. Immediately saw the medieval structures in churches. I immediately saw so many things that we are absolutely not aware of, that they are related to that knowledge. If you realize what power frequency has, and if you connect the dots to yourself, to our bodies, that we are basically, how do they call us, a cucumber, 80% water, and frequency definitely has the same impact on us. There's a second important information here by the Japanese, I think he's Japanese scientist Emoto. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he was studying water, and he was filling water with different information, playing music, playing Bach to water, freezing an ice drop and picturing and taking pictures of this ice drop, playing heavy metal to water and taking pictures of that. saying to water, I love you, I hate you, all of these different informations. And you should check it out, like how the water crystals are taking different shapes through the informations we are sending in. Actually, if you investigate a little deeper, you understand how much of that knowledge was already existing through the centuries, through the millennia in different cultures. Indian music, look into Indian traditional music. Indian traditional music is based, the whole philosophy is based on the spirituality of the tone, of the note, of frequency. There's a whole culture, 5,000 years old. The oldest musical culture on world is based on that, on this knowledge of the power of sound. And Joachim Ernst Behrendt, the guy you mentioned about the history of jazz, he wrote a book called Nada Brahma, where he explains actually exactly these relationships and how people like John Coltrane or these jazz cats in that period connected to this old knowledge, and they were, after bebop, they were investigating, like, okay, what is actually the source of the sound, the power of sound. So there's so much which can be found where knowledge is already existing, but somehow through the noise and through the amount of unnecessary and excuse my language, stupid things around, we sometimes miss the most important things, that music is not entertainment. Music is not a streaming service. It is the language of the universe. It is the most fundamental, powerful thing around us. It is frequency. It is building. It is influencing. It is healing if it has to. It can do a lot of things. And on that scale, I want to work, and on that scale, I want to introduce people to music by fascination as a starting point, and then education and network. We can somehow hope for creating that picture on a long run.
Oh, wow, I'm so glad we got into that part of it, because it is, sound is our essential building blocks. You talk about John Coltrane. I remember the first time I heard Love Supreme. There's something about that music. I certainly felt what he was sending. No one ever covers that music. There's no other band that does Love Supreme, because he was the only person who could do that. What was the name of the Barrett book? Because
Nada Brahma. Nada Brahma is an Indian expression for the world of sound. In the Bible, how it says, in the beginning there was a word.
Yeah.
The word as a sound. But to boil it down to the essence I'm understanding so far, it's actually very simple. It is just of the letting go. To go back to Bill, how you described how Bill plays the solo. That's it. You have to take the risk. You have to let go of the thinking part of your existence. You have to trust. You have to open, and you have to build skills. If you don't have skills, you cannot.
There's nowhere to go. Yeah. Right.
So you need skills, but in the name of the greater good, not in the name of yourself. And that's what the West is not understanding. Mostly they're using skills for the name of the ego, of themselves, of their career, of their money, of whatever.
I'm just so glad. I'm so glad we got to talk.
Me too, Chris. I mean, we are connected now. We are connected, and really feel welcome to be in touch with me. And I would like to meet at some point if it's possible. I don't know if you are traveling to Europe. Do you have any connections here? Do you have friends? Do you have people here? Are you coming?
I don't, but now I do. I have one friend.
Please, you have a friend. You have a brother here in Berlin.
Hello, I am JOAN PAO CUMELLA from Barcelona, and I am excited to be part of the Harmonica Fan Festival in Berlin next May 24, 25, 26. It's an honor to play in this festival alongside great harmonica players from all over the world. I will perform together with my friend and great guitar player Valentin Moya. We will do some jazz manouche, some original tunes, combining swing with rumba, blues, and other styles. And I also will be giving a master class, so I invite you to come. Hope to see you there, hope to see you in Berlin.
just a little bit.